Hedge Tube dwellers, and welcome to another Mad Bag Gamer commentary. I am on my archer, Sylvie. She is in Nightmare difficulty. I'm in the Chamber of Queen Araneae, which is an Act 1 dungeon. I'm going to attempt to take out the Queen here. This is my first Nightmare attempt. I have not tried to fight her yet. I did kill her with a number of characters in normal difficulty, but not yet with the Nightmare difficulty.
It's horrible.
I'm going to clip this directly afterwards and hopefully go straight to King Leo. I'm sorry, not King Leo. The Butcher. I'm going to go kill the Butcher on Nightmare difficulty 2 and check that out. Let me drop a little AoE for her. I'm going to bet that the majority of my damage is going to come out of rapid fire. I'll make sure I'm far enough away from her so as to not, oh man, get that acid or get hit by any of her slows. I am using quite a different setup than what you originally saw. I'll show you some of it in between this fight and the fight against the Butcher. And I may have to focus a little bit because Nightmare is noticeably more difficult than normal. I'm not going to say that it's like impossible or anything. I have died a number of times on Nightmare, but it's really just getting used to how quickly creatures can do damage and not at all letting anybody get within arm's length of you, whereas in normal you can kind of afford a hit here and there. And I do have a passive loaded right now that allows me to get back hatred and very small amounts of discipline from health orbs. So if you guys see me pick up health orbs when I'm at full health, no, I'm not wasting them. I'm likely trying to get hatred off of them. Because I use a couple abilities now, aside from rapid fire, really just this one arrow, that, as you can see there, dumps my hatred very, very quickly. And notice I have let her hit me a couple times. For the most part, I've been staying out of her snares altogether to ensure that she can't get a hit on me. But I was afforded a few mistakes, a few times that she actually hit me, and I didn't go down instantly. Although I did have pretty fluid use. Oh, that is heavy. Wow, I did not expect to find something off of her that I could wear, at least not right away. Intelligence is a wasted stat on a Demon Hunter, but that is a lot of dexterity, a lot more than the helm that I was using before. So, successful run, by all means. Let's check out. That helm looks goofy. Let's check out. Actually, can we get her to stop talking? Okay, cool, she's done. Let's check out the way I'm set up right now. So, I want to go over my passives first because this is kind of easy to cover. Generally speaking, I have two passives that increase my damage one way or another. I have archery, which no matter what I'm using, increases my damage by I trust in Blizzard, probably a balanced amount. It's a different effect though for the type of weapon I'm using. So right now I'm using a hand crossbow, which means that this passive gives me an extra 10% chance to critically hit, which is cool. If I was using a crossbow, it would instead be 50% extra damage on my criticals. If I was using a bow, it would be just 15% increased damage overall. So that is a damage perk. I have another steady aim that as long as no enemies are within 10 yards of me, all of my damage is increased by 20%. So sometimes you will see me create space with enemies when I don't, when they're not necessarily close enough to attack me. That's just to ensure that this steady aim stays active. 20% damage, as you can see by, well, I guess you can't really see the difference, but if I were to close on an enemy, it would take this damage down substantially. That's 739 is where I'm at right now. And then the last passive relates to my resources. So both of these I just kind of chalk up as those increase my damage one way or another. This one increases my maximum hatred and allows me to gain hatred off of health globes. Also a small amount of discipline, but it's really negligible. It's only 2 discipline. So because I have this, I have the ability to get large chunks of hatred back very quickly. And a lot of times I'll find myself in battle where I need a little bit of health, so I want to pick the globe up anyway, and I will happen to get hatred off of it whether I need it or not. So I have 2 different things that I could potentially get health globes for, so I figure I should have ways to dump the hatred very quickly. That way, rapid fire, as much as I like it, and I still think it does more damage over use, I still think it does more damage than this other ability that I have, I don't use hatred very quickly with it. Whenever I start using it, I can sit there and just belt out a full round of my hatred on a boss, and often do, especially on unique mobs. But it doesn't use a whole lot right now. Like if I've got low health and I need to grab a health orb, a lot of times I'll spam out my hatred just to get rid of it, using this cluster arrow, which does a little AoE damage where it lands, and then it launches 3 grenades out that do extra AoE damage afterwards, and it costs a massive amount of hatred. 50 is huge. Just to give you a comparison, my rapid fire, it says costs 20 in hatred initially and then 10 while channeling. The rune that I have actually reduces the initial cost to 5, so it's like 15 hatred, you know, right off the bat, and then 10 as it ticks. Not even close to this 50. It takes a while for it to get up to this 50. So this I can use to really, and I'll even show you, I can use to really spam my hatred out. Like, boom, 3 shots, my hatred is totally gone, and that's a chunk of AoE done. So really, it is one of my 2 AoEs. Now, the other ability that I have does not cost hatred. The other attack ability, I should say, does not cost hatred at all. It's Rain of Vengeance. It has a very long cooldown. However, I've got a rune on it that makes it last 12 seconds, and it's only off cooldown for 18 seconds, so it feels like I can use this ability a lot. It feels like I can have this ability on a lot, even if I'm in a continuous fight and I have to use it repeatedly. And then it doesn't cost any hatred, so it's really cool. It lets me spam all my hatred out in AoE when I need it, or when I need to just get rid of it. And then it allows me to really focus my hatred on single target damage whenever I need to. And then I've got my other 2 abilities other than my primary shot are both defensive. So Caltrops has been one of my favorite defensive abilities the whole time. This just helps me create space with enemies. I have the rune loaded that makes it totally root enemies when it first launches. That disallows them from moving whatsoever for 2 seconds, and then they're still snared for another 4 after that for that total 6. And then Shadow Power is one that I've been playing with lately, and I actually really like what it allows me to do. For a very short period of time and a relatively high discipline cost, you get a vampiric effect where you drain life. All of your attacks give you some of your damage back in hit points. And I have a rune active for it that makes my hatred regenerate faster when it's on too. Again, stacking into this hatred and this idea of being able to just dump the hatred, or this constant effect with this hatred regeneration. It basically keeps my hatred pretty level while constantly using rapid fire for at least the 3 seconds that this Shadow Power ability is active. And both of these, and especially this other ability that's just kind of raining arrows here, check this out. I shoot arrows up to begin with. For 12 seconds it rains arrows in a place. And I've got a rune on it to where it lasts longer. It also makes it move around. When you first get this ability and with no runes on it, it's a real big AoE. The arrows just hit the whole area the whole time. Like this, it focuses though, and does less damage, but focuses and lasts more than twice as long. Having these couple different abilities, this ability to constantly fire and constantly do pretty big damage, this ability to do good AoE damage, and then this thing that I constantly have going for certain periods of time in the fight, allow me to very quickly and easily get hit points from a number of different sources, and allows me to keep my hit points up really easily. So I can actually kind of stand in with a boss fight if I have Shadow Power on, and as long as I'm punishing her or her AoE minions, I can stay alive even if she's really punishing me hard. The primary I switch out pretty often. My favorite 2 are Hungering Arrow with Shatter Shot, which is what I'm using right now, and Bola Shot with Volatile Explosives. The very first rune in this, even reading these other ones, I think, in my opinion, is the best one. Imminent Doom might be nice, but that's just because it raises the damage so much. It actually makes it take longer to explode, though, and that might turn out to be a deal breaker. This AoE, though, on Bola Shot makes it the highest damage, both single target and AoE, out of all of the abilities, not counting runes. So like obviously there's a couple runes that make Hungering Arrow do more direct damage. That takes it above Bola Shot by default. But it's still, without, you know, those certain runes, it's still the single target and AoE highest damage skill. So I really like using it a lot too. And that AoE is huge. 14 yards is amazing. Shatter Shot, though, you guys saw some of. You'll probably see a little bit more. And actually, I'm probably going to have to take that off for the Butcher, but I'll have it on for the Warden, and I'll show you the Warden. It breaks into 3 arrows whenever it pierces, which, if you sit there and get a couple shots going, once you get 2 or 3 pierces, it turns into some decent AoE damage, and it's one of the higher single target damage ones. So let's jump to the next fight. I think the next thing is going to be the Warden. It's time to face the Warden. Note that just in coming down here, I did get a new item. It's socketed, haven't stuck anything in it quite yet, even though I could put a lifesteal in it. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm doing a little bit more damage now, though. 800. I fire noticeably slower, though. All my attacks are bigger, but I'm not totally sure I like the slower attacks, so let's go Warden. Got my shrine. I'm going to go ahead and lay a couple traps right off the bat because they will be used. Get a base of arrows going. These might be able to get some pierces. Holy crap, he's going down so fast. This is not even funny. What? Wow. I did not expect this fight to go like that. Oh man, I guess the slow big damage is kind of nice. Especially in that this is really crazy. So this is a two-handed crossbow, right? This archery makes the critical hit damage greater when you're using crossbows. So if I come in here and look at my critical hit damage, it's plus 100%. I'm doing like 1,000 damage. One of these is like doing, 1,000 times, 115%, so it's doing like, I don't know, 1,200, maybe even 1,300 damage. And then it crits, that's like a 2,600 damage crit. And apparently that's a decent amount, because I'll tell you, using this rapid fire, it crits real often because it's got so many little hits. And it's only, it says 228%. I don't think that's right, though. I think it's much less than that per shot. I think that's just like the, I don't know, the amount of damage it does over a weapon's attack speed. So wow, that was really, really easy. I actually have a really good feeling about the Butcher now. He's right down here. I'm going to take a break. I actually need to use the bathroom real fast before I do the Butcher fight. But we're going to go basically straight into it. Let's see the big numbers we get here. I'm seeing 200s all day long. It was a while before I saw the first crit. The first crit I saw there was about 400. That's not exceptional, really. I mean, considering I should be seeing like, 2,000 values with the Hungering Arrow. That's level 3. That's not the Butcher yet, is it? Okay, no, it's not. Alright, well, I'll turn this back on when I get to the Butcher anyway. Oh, the all too familiar path to the Butcher. Looks like we've got a couple enemies down here, although they don't look like anything real threatening. Go ahead and dispatch with extreme prejudice. Now, let's see if there's anything I want to change. So, this with the heal and the hatred generation, I think is going to be good. I almost want to switch it to the better heal. There's a rune that increases the vampiric effect by 10%. The snare, the caltrops, I think I will need. The Hungering Arrow, I definitely want to change. The Shatter Shot is AoE focused. I want instead DPS focused. Now, is this going to be my best bet, or is there... The primary target has a chance to stun. Okay, so there's a Bola Shot rune that does its 130% weapon damage, as well as has a chance to stun for 1.5 seconds. So not only is that, it's not quite more raw damage because the fire effect of this brings this up to, what is that, a total of 150? 150% weapon damage per shot. However, this having a stun may save my life against Mr. Butcher's huge attacks. Homing rockets do AoE damage. That's not necessarily going to help. I'm going to stick with... Well, I'm thinking with rapid fire you kind of have to sit still to get its effect. However, I think I'll have chances to do that. But I'm almost tempted to switch it over to Impale instead, just because I can do it while strafing a lot more easily. Let's actually change Cluster Arrow. Let's do that. Let's change my Cluster Arrow to Impale instead. Now, which one does the biggest? Impale has a 65% chance to knock the target back and stun it. That's pretty attractive. Also, Bleed for 125% weapon damage. That one, I think it's going to have to be it, just for the raw damage. So total, that's 375% weapon damage every time I toss an Impale. And it's 25 hatred, so I can literally toss like 6 of those. Alright, I think I'm set up. Let's go see if we can take down the Butcher on Nightmare. Again, this is my first attempt. I have not tried this yet. Obviously, I probably wouldn't have had to switch my abilities if I'd tried this already. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to drop a snare immediately because he's probably going to come this way. I'm going to try to start out. Oh, this is nasty. Oh my god. Wow, he does so much damage. I'm going to have to use a lot of shadow, whatever that thing's called, my heal, my vampiric effect. I hope those stuns are hitting him. That is what I mean by the strafe. If I sit still and try to do a whole lot of my my rapid fire, he's going to get all kinds of attacks on me. Uh-oh, man, that is a lot more damage than it does on normal. Please let that impale get the stun. I don't even know that that impale hit him. I'm doing pretty good, though. He's going down really fast. Keeping my hatred high, too. I could honestly spam this impale out a little bit more often. Go down, you big nasty bastard. Oh, I'm going to go for the health. And the ground is burning again instantly. Holy crap, the ground fires are just taking off. Don't get lazy. Keep strafing. I can use a potion if I need to. I don't think I'm going to even need it.
Not enough hatred.
Here goes the hatred. Got it! Butchered on Nightmare. Let's see what he dropped. Of course, the quest is complete. Dropped some good-sized piles of gold. Honestly, did not drop that many blues, and didn't drop any yellows. So, as the difficulty increases, I'm not exactly sure what kind of percentages we're looking at, but the unique creatures that you run into that have a name, that are either yellow or purple, actually get a faster increase to the chance they have to drop really good items than the bosses do. So these main bosses like the Butcher, as you get in the higher and higher difficulties, are less and less attractive as a target for loot. The littler guys become more your focus, and they're tougher to find, so really it just kind of tries to put emphasis on running the game's content, going to the side dungeons, you know, really exploring areas and finding everything you can, which I think is kind of cool. Alright, well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my nightmare takedown of the Butcher, as well as a couple other Act 1 bosses. I'll see you next time. Oh my god, I just increased my critical hit damage by 25%, 125%! That's so huge!